Hi, you guys. This is Courtney from Willow's Bloom, and today we're going to be talking about the new moon in Cancer that's happening on July 9th at 18 degrees of Cancer. So, really quick before I jump into the chart, the overall explanation, I did want to mention that I have a new membership called the North Node Society, and I basically have a whole astrology course that is worth hundreds of dollars just sitting there for you, easy access, just $20 a month. And it's so much more than just an astrology course. Not only can you dive into your chart and learn about where this moon is going to affect you personally and how that might look in your life, but you'll also have live group classes with people where I go over other topics around astrology. We also have a therapist. I say that in quotes because she's not a therapist, but there's some kind of like counseling service that we do. Again, I don't want to say counseling because I'm not like legally allowed to have therapy or counseling. It's something along those lines. It's kind of like coaching, like spiritual coaching, let's say. So we have a spiritual coach come on each month. We have breathwork classes, yoga. There's so many different things that are offered in this membership, and I really hope that you'd be interested in joining. So if so, there's a link below, and I'll see you guys there. Okay, so we're gonna go over the new moon for all of the zodiac signs, but first we're gonna start off with the overview. So, like I said, this moon is happening at 18 degrees of Cancer, which means that if you have a planet at around plus or minus 5 degrees, 18 degrees of Cancer, then you are going to be strongly affected by this. So, this is what I see time and time again with my friends. For the people that don't have this aspecting any of their personal planets, sometimes these moons come and go and they're just felt a little bit energetically, but nothing in their life happens. Other times, when it hits a personal planet by some kind of aspect, square, opposition, sextile, trine, or conjunction, you are going to have something in your life alter, change, manifest, or dissolve away. And new moons are specifically about building something up. So if this is hitting your personal chart, which again, you can find out by joining the membership and taking the course. But yeah, if this is hitting your chart, you'll notice that some new beginnings are being planted, some new seeds are being planted at this time. And it's going to be another 6 months for the next full moon in Cancer when you start to see some ripe fruit coming as a result of the actions and things that are happening in your life right now. If you've watched my videos before, then you know I love to use tarot and oracle cards along with the astrology messages because I just feel like they're so intertwined. So I'm definitely going to be using those today to kind of describe this moon. So, what is a new moon in Cancer about? Well, what I think is it's a lot about new emotional beginnings. Cancer is about us allowing ourselves to feel, allowing ourselves to nurture and mother ourselves, especially because this new moon is making a square to Chiron, which is an asteroid in the sky that has a lot to do with our healing process. And a square is a harsh angle that's indicating that this healing is coming off the back of a challenging situation. And because leading up to this point in time, Venus was opposing Pluto, a lot of those challenging situations are likely regarding our finances, our self worth, or our relationships, our intimate partnerships with people. And so, this healing that's happening is really going to be around some of those issues. And it's probably going to feel like a band aid is being ripped off so that the skin underneath can finally get a fresh breath of air. And so that's kind of what I see this new moon as being. I don't think it's going to be the most comfortable new moon, but there are good solutions happening. And what I mean by that is that this new moon is also making a positive angle to Uranus. It's making a sextile to Uranus. Uranus is a planet of finding solutions. It is kind of like our way of thinking outside of the box, of rebelling to create something that doesn't exist that is going to solve our problems, to create change, to disrupt the status quo of what's been happening so we can finally feel some sense of relief or release or freedom. And so that's really what this new moon is about. How are we going to fully express how we feel? By finding some way to create a sense of change in our life to feel more free, to feel like can finally be ourselves. So if you've had some relationships or relationship dynamics that have been repetitive or toxic and kind of keeping you stuck in old cycles, the sextile to Uranus at this moon is asking you to make some changes to those relationships to finally feel like you have some breathing room so you can finally express your authentic self with somebody who can actually sit and listen and take it in and who is a valid person to have a relationship with. I'm going to get more into that for each of the individual signs, but this sextile to Uranus feels very positive. So while there is kind of a lot going on in the sky in general in terms of relationships, money, and self-confidence, this Uranus energy asking us to shake things up, make different decisions, completely disrupt something in our life that's been heading on a path that needs to alter. That is the answer. That is the medicine and the remedy within the astrology right now. This new moon is also making a trine to Neptune. So this trine to Neptune is going to make this healing process a little bit easier. It's going to give us basically more universal and spiritual support throughout this process. So if you're looking for divine timing or divine signals or the universe kind of speaking back to you, this is a moon where you're going to feel like you're finally getting some kind of response from the universe if that's something that you normally tuned into. It's also a really great time to express yourself through art and creativity and anything where you feel like you can process emotion in a really cathartic way. So Neptune is that perfect energy, not only for spiritual expression, but artistic expression. So kind of leaning into those areas are going to help uplift you at this time. There's a really wide orb happening with Pluto and a Pluto opposition. So it's a 7-degree orb. We're probably not going to be feeling it that much, but since the Venus opposition to Pluto happened somewhat recently, I did want to bring this in and say that I do see some residual intensity from recent experiences regarding relationships, regarding money, or regarding self-worth, kind of filtering into this current experience. So I do feel like some of the kind of like childhood shadows that come up around those areas of our life can still be at the forefront, while I don't see them being like necessarily new situations or new realizations. I feel like it's more of the residual of what was just happening. So I hope that makes sense. Okay, so that's pretty much what's going on for the moon itself. Now I'm going to talk about what's happening in the rest of the sky as far as astrology, and then I'll get into some cards that I pulled for this. So we are also experiencing Mercury in Gemini making a trine to Jupiter retrograde in Pisces. So Mercury in Gemini is in its home sign. It loves to be there. Jupiter in Pisces loves to be there. They're both really strong in their element. The only thing wrong here is that Jupiter is retrograde. So a lot of this growth and advancement that we're currently working on with Jupiter is going to be very internal. Those abundance and the blessings that we normally see when Jupiter is direct are going to be kind of on hold until Jupiter does go direct again. Not that you won't receive any abundance or blessings, but that they're kind of trickling out now and not full on pouring out, because a lot of what's happening right now is internal manifestations, internal changes, internal growth. And so that's what Jupiter retrograde does. So I feel like Mercury making a trine to Jupiter is us being more optimistic. It's us feeling like, okay, I can see long term now. I can see how much I've evolved. I can look back in the past and give myself credit for how I've changed, how I've healed, how I've grown. But then we have Mercury also making a square to Neptune. So it's like, even though we can kind of see into the future and we feel more optimistic about it and we can see how far we've come, we also have this element of ourselves where there's still a lack of clarity. We're still not exactly sure where we're going. It's like we have a general idea, we're feeling excited, but when we try to like get down into the details of what is my life right now? Who am I going to be with? What is my relationship with myself going to be? How is my money going to evolve? It's like those things are not fully within our grasp. So even though we can have that excitement and that long-term vision, it's that long-term vision is unclear, or we don't feel like it's tangible. We don't have all of the information yet. We haven't fully come out of this hazy chapter. Like, we haven't fully integrated these lessons. We're still in this process of absorbing it and trying to understand it. So things might not feel like they're totally clear. So if you have this kind of weird relationship with someone, and you're trying to end it, or you're not sure where you guys stand, like that's the kind of energy. Like, okay, there's some relief. Like, you guys maybe made a decision. If this is about a relationship, maybe you made a decision to end or change the relationship or not pursue something or whatever. You had a conversation. But then with the Neptune influence, it's like, it's not really done yet. It's like, it's not solidified. It's not super clear where you stand with this person, but you have a general idea of where you guys are going and you feel like it's better than where it was before. But maybe it's like you're not healed yet, or there's some aspect of that still needs to be fully seen later on. So just kind of keep that in mind. Some of the big stuff that's happening is that we're going to have Mars and Venus aligning in the sky and making a conjunction. So Mars and Venus are very different energies. Venus is the planet of harmony and unity, and Mars is the planet of separation and of war. And so when we bring these two things in combination, it can be honestly this very intensified sexual experience. So we might have a lot more desire nature at this time. We might desire to be in relationship with people. We might want to have more sex with people. We might want to be around people in this really like strong, intense way than we normally do. Kind of like an almost animalistic drive to pursue relationships, or a drive to pursue financial abundance within ourselves, or financial abundance in general, or peace within ourselves. If we're working on a relationship with ourselves, it's like we have this fiery masculine flame kind of driving this desire for the feminine here, the uniting and the harmony. What this can also do is kind of lead to maybe some more struggles in relationships and fights and things like this, especially because Venus and Mars is opposing Saturn in the sky. So it's not like we have this desire and we're given free reign to go out and pursue what we want. At the end of the day, Saturn is there kind of blocking us and saying, okay, well, if you want to make progress with this, you first have to revisit all of this from the past. You have to address these weird habits that you have that you've been stuck in, or you have to overcome this problem first before you can have the green light to go ahead and like be with who you want or do what you want. It's like, it's hard. There's obstacles, there's delays, there's a sense of so much effort needing to be made, and it feels frustrated because our energy is being blocked. Like Mars is our energy, so we have this energy behind us to unite, to be with people, to have sex, to work on our money relationship, our relationship with ourselves. But it's like every time we try to take a step forward, there's like this roadblock that just doesn't allow us to keep on that path. So that can be a little bit frustrating at this time. But the good news is that Venus and Mars is making a square to Uranus. Again, squares are not the most positive, but just the fact that it's touching Uranus here is a good sign, especially because this moon is making a sextile to Uranus. What this means to me is that the solution to these things is creating some sense of freedom or change or disruption to your current cycle. And it's going to feel probably like a loss. It's probably going to feel negative. It's probably going to feel like something is either being taken from you or it's harder to process than it normally is because it's a square. So anytime there's a square to Uranus, it's like, it's not change that you're necessarily sitting down and really wanting to make that change. Maybe deep inside, you know that's the change that's best for you, but it's like on the outside, you also feel like you want to be with someone and maybe you don't want to have a breakup, or you want to spend that money and you don't want to sit there and budget all day. Like there's some aspect there that kind of feels like you're dragging your feet with this a little bit. But that square, if you do put that effort in to make those changes, to disrupt the status quo of where things have been going, that train that's headed down the track, if you disrupt that, it's going to truly manifest in a positive way for you and have a ripple effect onto the rest of your year. Venus and Mars is also making a trine to Chiron, so I do feel like it's through this change, through these decisions, and through facing these relationships with people or facing your relationship with yourself or with money, it's through that experience that you're going to have that deeper healing, that you're going to let go of some of those past patterns that you've been repeating since childhood. So that's really what came up with Venus opposed Pluto, was childhood patterns started to come up in relationships. We started to default to wanting to close down, to not open up. And now it's saying this is our chance to heal that by kind of creating a rift, by exploding what once was, by taking a detour, by creating this massive change. We can start to rewire and rewrite history so that it doesn't just repeat itself on this in this cyclical way. So it's true healing is allowed to happen when we're doing this. And lastly, we have Saturn making a square to Uranus. This has been ongoing throughout the entire year. It's going to keep on going. So I don't really want to talk too much about it, but it's basically saying that we're just making massive, massive changes in our lives, and they might feel like they're coming a little bit slower than we'd like and a little bit more frustrating than we would like because Saturn is involved. But just know that you're steadily making progress, and this year is really where we're starting to lay down those big changes in our lives and into our internal selves. And then next year, I think we're going to start to see more results from them. So I wanted to show some cards that I pulled. So First, I pulled this card, the ever unfolding rose, cracked open. It's happening for you, not to you. This is really important. I feel like a lot of times it can feel like these negative relationship situations or money situations or self-worth situations are happening to us. We feel like we are victim to some of these people. I mean, if it's a lot of it is imbalances in relationships, honestly. That was occurring in the weeks prior to this, that we can feel frustrated about, like, why am I always giving, or why am I not receiving? It doesn't have to just be relationships, but just any area of your life where you feel like, God, I'm giving so much and I'm just not getting back what I think I should be getting back. And I feel like what this is saying is this is a very prime situation to help illustrate what you deserve, and to stop falling into patterns or falling into relationships with people that don't give back what you put in. It's not happening to you, it's literally happening for you. You're encountering these challenging situations and people to help you realize your worth, so that from now on, you can really stand up for yourself, hold those boundaries, take your power back, and start to attract the things that only match your level of giving and your vibration. I also pulled a potential card, so I feel like this is kind of going on the back of that, saying that all of this is happening to build you up to your highest potential. If you didn't have these more challenging relationships and circumstances and everything was just easy going, it's like there's not enough friction to help you grow, which is Jupiter retrograde. Grow inside, grow within yourself to reach a deeper and higher potential. So this is kind of forming us into the people that we're meant to be. I also pulled these two cards together, which is the wisdom and focus card. And I really feel like this is us being called to really address where our energy is going with this focus card. You know, what are you focusing your time, thoughts, and energy on? Because the last moon that we had was a Capricorn full moon, which was asking us to grow something, which was asking us to put effort into something. And so I think that is continuing on here with this focus card. Don't give up. Keep up that endurance towards building whatever you're trying to go for, whether that's a business, a relationship, a move, whatever it is you're trying to bring into your life to create change. Keep your focus on the prize and not on what's being lost, but what's being gained by creating more freedom in your life, by releasing things that aren't in alignment with you. And the wisdom card, I feel like, is just telling you to view this perspective to view all this from a higher perspective. Really try to put on your thinking caps and have the perspective of your future self or a really wise elder. They're not going to get so caught up in the details of the emotional experience that's happening right now. They're not going to get stuck in the stories. They're going to think about where this is taking them, why this is necessary, why this happened. Really allowing yourself to reflect in a wise and self-compassionate way is going to be important. And I feel like this Five of Pentacles is really illustrating kind of what we're experiencing emotionally at this time. These people are left out in the cold. They feel like they're not getting their needs met. They aren't being satisfied in their relationships or in some area of their life. And they're just feeling a little bit emotionally frustrated. And I feel like that's how a lot of us are feeling right now with different areas of our life. We're feeling like this sense of disappointment or, like not being fully fulfilled. Like we can start to get some breadcrumbs and some things coming into our life, but the breadcrumbs aren't enough for these people. They feel like they're still frustrated with the situation that they're in. And I feel like that is where we kind of are, especially in relationships right now. And to me, the next card, the Hanged One, is really this Uranus energy about creating a massive shift. This can either be in our life or in our perspective. So there needs to be some kind of shift to who we are or to what we think or to what we do. We need to turn our life upside down and shake out all of the loose change from our pockets, because it's just dead weight that is not helping us. So for all of us, there's some elements of our life that's that loose change that's constantly like jingling in our pockets, reminding us that we need to do something about it, but we just don't want to take it out. We just don't want to get rid of it because it is money at the end of the day. but it's just weighing you down. It's unnecessary. So even if this relationship, this job, or this thing that you're enjoying feels good, or you want to hold on to it because you see some value in it, just know that it's chump change, and the universe is trying to shake that out of your pockets to give you, hundreds and hundreds of dollars and not just quarters. But you have to first make room in your life and in your pockets to receive that money to be able to do that. And that's why I feel like I pulled this Four of Pentacles card. This is us not wanting to release that change. Literally the change, I meant like with the money in your pockets, but literally like releasing something. Like all of us are trying to hold on to something that we no longer need to hold on to. If it's a relationship with someone, a hookup, a connection, something in regards to finances. I mean, that's the very obvious one with Four of Pentacles. Is desiring to hold on to those finances so that you feel the sense of security when there is no sense of security. You create your sense of security. So holding on to this thing is only deterring the blessings that want to come in for you. And this new moon in Cancer is about releasing things, allowing yourself to create space and liberation in your life to bring in new things, and allowing yourself to feel and grieve what's happening. Because whenever you release something, there's some aspect of grief that also accompanies that. So if you're trying to hold on to it so you don't feel the grief, you're really just delaying your blessings, delaying the healing process, and you're not helping yourself. So let go of whatever that thing is. Allow yourself to move on, and then move into the phase 2 of your life, which is about planning ahead. And this is what I feel like Mercury making that trine to Jupiter is saying is it's a great time to plan ahead. It's a great time to look into the future. It's okay if you don't have full clarity with that square to Neptune. You don't need full clarity to get started. You don't need full clarity to start journaling, to get an idea of what you want. So if you did lose a relationship, if you did let that go, now get really clear on what you want to come in its place. Who does that person need to be to satisfy you? How do you need to be in the relationship to be fulfilled? Get super clear in that planning process to understand what it takes. And then the very last card we have is the Strength card, which I feel like is really just telling us that the sun will shine again, but in the meantime, it's going to take our inner resilience and our strength to endure this next couple of weeks, to move through these challenging situations, to try to endure this Five of Pentacles feeling, but just know that when we come out on the other side, things are going to be much better. So I think the Strength card is really about that, like seeing the light at the end of tunnel, knowing that things are going to improve, and just giving yourself the opportunity to believe that things will improve. So that is what I'm seeing for this new moon in Cancer. And now I'm going to go into all of the zodiac signs. If you are enjoying this so far, please like and subscribe. And if you comment down below, I just want to say thank you so much, because those comments, they mean the world to me, you guys. I read every single one and they touch my heart so deeply. And I just wanted to say thank you in advance if you are commenting. All right, up next we have Aquarius Rising. So for you guys, Aquarius, this new moon in Cancer at 18 degrees is happening in your 6th house of work, health, daily routines. And so you guys might have some new beginnings coming in through the workplace. Wow, okay, the first card that fell out was the Five of Wands, and not really the card that I want to see in your reading, to be honest, but let's kind of see where that's going before I make a comment about it. And we got the Lovers card. Aww. So either relationships or choices coming into the forefront right now. Yeah, so having a new moon in the 6th house can bring work opportunities, can bring some, I mean, to be honest, the first thing I thought of when I saw the Five of Wands was like quarrels or disagreements with your colleagues. Like some kind of new beginning in terms of your relationship with your colleagues, but it could kind of start off on a little bit of a rocky foot with the Five of Wands. Doesn't have to be the case, does not have to be the case, but it is a possibility. Yeah, I definitely feel like overall though, with what's going on, because this moon is also making a trine to Neptune in the 2nd, so I feel like the work opportunities that are coming in for you, like the job opportunities, connecting with colleagues, that type of thing, is actually going to really benefit your confidence and your finances at this time. Neptune is not really the planet that, I don't know if I just mentioned this. The new moon is making a trine to Neptune in a 2nd. I don't know if I said that. But yeah, I don't know. Neptune is not really the planet we associate with stable finances, because it tends to dissolve things, and transiting your 2nd house, it can like dissolve your possessions, dissolve your finances. It's better to carry things like cash and like gold and like actual material things to help mitigate this. But I still feel like Neptune can bring us I feel like it brings us more like emotional blessings. So maybe a lot of this is actually coming in terms of confidence more than money per se. So I feel like whatever is going on with your work, whatever you've been putting your energy and dedicating your time to on a consistent basis, creating routine around, showing up day after day, I feel like that's going to start paying off in bettering your self-confidence. And yeah, it doesn't just have to be work. It could be things like you working out on a regular basis and you're starting to like get the groove back, and you're like, okay, yeah, I look good. Or it could be you like meditating every day. It's like changing or having a new it's having a new beginning in that aspect of your life, like some kind of like new seed being planted or new idea that's ultimately going to feed into your either your wealth or your confidence as a person. This new moon is also making a sextile to Uranus in the fourth house. So you may need to make some changes to your home. So it could be like you're having a new routine within your home, or literally you need to move, or you need to change how often you're talking to your family. There's some aspect here of like your foundational self that's coming from your home and family, or your emotional foundation that needs to shift. So if it's like your emotional foundation, maybe it's changing aspects in your routine to help support you having different emotions day to day, having more positive daily emotions. So if you find that like every day at 5 o'clock you start getting into a slump or depression because work is over and you're not really sure what to do with your time and you're not really having enough time or energy to hang out with people, like it's making some kind of change there. It's making a change so that you don't continue to feel that emotion. There's a shift or change happening to your emotional nature or to your home or to your family. So if it is something in work or if it is something in your daily routine that you're starting just now, I feel like that could both shift your confidence, and that confidence could shift your emotional nature. It could make you a more happy, more positive, more optimistic person overall. And yeah, I feel like shift it for the better, you know? Doesn't always have to be the case. I guess it could be shifting you for the worse. I didn't think about that, but I'd like to think more positively anyway. You guys also have Mercury and Gemini in the fifth house, making a trine to Jupiter in the second. So, yeah, I feel like you guys being really creative at this time, or going on dates, doing like fun social things, like spending your time just communicating with people, and yeah, like I feel like fun social gatherings, like that's also going to add to your confidence. Yeah, I feel like that's going to be a good thing for you. Let's look at some of what the cards are saying, because I feel like, okay, yeah, so we're not, you know how I was just saying, like you being social, you having fun, you doing something pleasurable, going on dates, having drinks, that kind of thing, that's going to add to your like sense of stability. Weirdly, it could also improve your finances, possibly. But I feel like it's ultimately going to improve your inner confidence. And that's really what I feel like I pulled this card for. It says, play, have fun, celebrate, don't be so serious. I feel like you guys have been putting a lot of work into something with this new moon in the sixth house. It is saying that there's going to be more work ahead. You're kind of at the precipice. You're kind of at the very beginning kind of energy. Like you're just planting some seeds to have a new routine or new project at your job, or something new coming in terms of your relationship with your colleagues. And so you're kind of you have work ahead of you. And what this is saying is that it's not all work, no play. It's supposed to be equal work, equal play. And I feel like that's what you guys are doing right now with this Mercury transiting your fifth house. You're more communicative, you're more social, you're more playful. And I feel like it's with the trine to Jupiter in the second, it's making you feel better. It's making you feel more stable. It's making you feel more confident. Mercury is also making a square to Neptune in the second. So it's possible that so whenever Mercury is making a square to Neptune, there's often some element here of like communication breakdown, and not in a negative way, but in the way where you don't fully understand or see eye to eye with someone, and it's like it's a cloud of haziness. I kind of feel like this could be something around resources because Neptune is in the second house. So if this is something with colleagues that you're working with, I feel like this Five of Wands card could indicate this Mercury-Neptune square occurring. You have this trine to Jupiter happening as well, which is going to give a positive resolution to whatever issue this is, but maybe you aren't seeing eye to eye on how to like divide certain resources or how to go about creating something, or it's like there's some aspect here of like finances that you don't have full clarity around, or you're not fully confident around certain aspects of finances, or it doesn't have to be finances, it could be possession. So like maybe you want to buy a house, or maybe you want to do something, and like you're not everyone is on board. And I kind of feel like it's probably you with colleagues, because I feel like it's work related. It doesn't have to be, but in general I think it could possibly be work related. Or it could even be you with like a relationship with someone, like you guys maybe have different like spending habits. There's something here where it's like you're not fully seeing eye to eye around resources. I guess I'm going to start trying to guess who this is with, because it really could be with anyone. But since Mercury's in the fifth, I'm like, okay, maybe it's your dating life, maybe it's like your friends. So that's a possibility. Maybe like that aspect of your life is like kind of taking more money from you, and it's like you're really getting more enjoyment and confidence out of it, but it's kind of taking money from you. I know I just said it could give you money because Jupiter is there, so maybe it kind of balances out anyway. But it's hard to say like how that will go. The Five of Wands does indicate though like some kind of disagreement, and I do think that it's with somebody else, because this new moon is in the sixth house, and because you have so much energy going on in your relationship sectors. I kind of feel like there is some aspect of not seeing eye to eye about something. I'm not really sure what this is exactly, to be honest. It could be something in relationships, or it could possibly be internalized, but I do feel like there's some element there of like trying to get what you want at all costs. And it could be something within your company. So like if this is a new beginning in the sixth house, it's like you want that raise, or you want to be considered for a position, or you want this new responsibility, and you're gonna have to like fight other people for it, and you're like gonna get it kind of energy. Or yeah, it's like some kind of competition element occurring, or disagreement occurring, likely within the workplace. Not always the case. But then I kind of feel like whatever that happens, even though it's like a very divisive energy, right after you have the Lovers. And to me, the Lovers is not only indicating aspects of relationships, which I see with Venus and Mars conjunct in your seventh house. I'm going to get to that in a second. But I also feel like because it comes right after the Five of Wands, it's this unity happening. So if the Five of Wands is an internal argument with yourself, or this misunderstanding or disagreement within yourself, like not knowing what to do, the Lovers is you deciding and coming together and feeling good about the decision and being at whole and at one with yourself again. If it's with an outside perspective or outside people, like your work or your colleagues or something, and you're not seeing eye to eye, there's lack of communication or breakdown of communication, misunderstandings, or a competition for something in your workplace, I feel like the Lovers card is the resolution of that. The Lovers is saying you come together. The Lovers is saying you make an agreement, you like a decision has been made, and things start to become peaceful again, and there's this aspect of unity after division. So that feels very positive to me. After that, I have the Moon and the Page of Pentacles card. So I kind of feel like this might be going along with what I was saying about growing in confidence and possibly some changes to your financial situation. I'm not really sure about those changes. Jupiter in the second house is very positive. And even making an aspect to Mercury, it's like you guys could be just having more conversations and things coming in that are just going to somehow help you grow your finances later on. But then with that square to Neptune, like that makes me question things. Like, how is that going to turn out? Like, again, Neptune's not the best with money. Like, how is that going to be? And so maybe it's a good time for you to consider your relationship with money, to consider your relationship with confidence, and how that affects your ability to manifest money. I feel like this is part of what you're meant to be exploring at this time with this Mercury and Neptune and Jupiter aspects going on, is how are my thoughts, how are the way I'm thinking, how are the way that I'm communicating affecting my ability to create this new beginning for myself in terms of finances, to start manifesting more money or have this opportunity come in through my career. I have to be confident to be chosen if this is the Five of Wands, or I have to be confident to start attracting the people who will invest in me or who will believe in me. And I feel like the Moon card is saying that it's time for you to maybe take a closer look at some of those things that can be holding back that confidence from that can be holding you back and taking some energy away from creating this Page of Pentacles, where it should be going instead of into your fears kind of thing. You guys, I mentioned that you have Venus and Mars in Leo in the seventh house. This is a lot of energy around relationships, a lot of desire to cultivate relationships, maybe become like start dating someone, or focus a lot on other people at this time. It's an outward focus. It's focused on others, whether that's your close relationships, building a new one, or just like people in general that are important to you. I feel like you're very dedicated to them. You have a lot of energy for them. However, with Saturn in the first house, I feel like you're working on yourself a lot. Saturn's been moving through your first house for a while, and it's asking you to restructure who you are, to break bad habits, to really examine some of these cycles that you've been stuck in and feel like you can't move out of. And so this element of needing to work on yourself is actually going to pull energy away from your focus and your desire to be and interact with others. It's like you have responsibilities, you have things that you have to take care of for yourself, possibly for your career path as well, because the first house has a lot to do with that, or possibly your health. Like there's some aspect of your life, either health, your work, or just you working on your baggage in a way that's going to become a blockage for this relationship to develop, or for your ability to focus on others. So just kind of try to find an equilibrium or a balance between focusing on yourself and others at this time. Venus and Mars is also making a square to Uranus in the fourth house. So I feel like you guys are being asked to make some change within your home, or your emotional nature, which could have to do with this moon card. You kind of examining what, like how not having confidence is maybe blocking you in some ways of achieving this financial new beginning for yourself. So it could be that, or it could be literally your home or your family, aspects of moving or changing your home or dealing with things in your family. Those things do need to change, and as you start to shift those, whatever one it is, I feel like you're going to have more energy to dedicate to others, to dedicate to your relationships, because I feel like that's where your drive is at this time. But you kind of have some stuff that you need to wrap up within yourself and with your emotions or home and family. So like once you're able to kind of work on those things and make shifts in those areas, I feel like it's going to free up that space, that time, that energy in your partnerships, so that you can feel like it's being moved. It's yeah. And also it's possible that your partnerships are affecting those things. So your partnerships could be affecting your home. Your partnerships could be affecting your emotional nature. And like one of them needs to change. And I'm going to say it's where Uranus is, which is home, family, emotions. So the Venus and Mars in the seventh could act as a trigger, or that relationship could act as a trigger for you to see something more clearly about yourself that needs to shift within you. Or it could be that person helping you see something that needs to shift within your home or your family environment. I got the Mintakan card, which says longing for home, belonging, the original light workers. So I feel like whatever shifts you're making hopefully will help you bring in this feeling that your home like feels more like home. Does that sound weird? Like whatever shifts you're making with Uranus in the fourth house, like I was just talking about, is basically saying that like it's going to help you feel more stable, more at home, more secure within yourself, within that family environment or your physical home environment. Like whatever shifts have to be made are going to make you feel a sense of relief and not like you don't belong in some way. Starseed, what lights you up? I feel like this is just telling you to follow your passions. So there's not really anything coming through for that. Okay, let me pull one. Oh, I pulled the Goddess card. Okay, you guys got the Potential card. And that's really the vibe that I'm getting with this. With the new moon in the sixth house, there's a lot of potential for growth. There's a lot of potential for your efforts to eventually pay off. And because we ended with the Page of Pentacles, that is the feeling that I'm getting, is that you guys have an opportunity coming, but it's like just the beginning of that opportunity. And you guys have to put in the work and the grind in order to see it grow. And that's the Potential card for me in a nutshell, is that this has a lot of potential to be something big, the Ten of Pentacles, this stable foundation for yourself, but it's not there yet. And you need to just tap into that potential and hold on to that vision in order to see it through to the end. So that's what I see for you guys, Aquarius Rising. If it resonates, please like and comment down below. I love your comments. They mean so much to me. And please subscribe as well. If you're interested in learning about astrology, I have an entire course worth hundreds of dollars for just $20 a month, and you can cancel anytime. And it's all within the North Node Society, which is linked in the description box below. And I hope you have a beautiful day. Bye.